There's this thing that I call the trifecta. It's sugar, salt, and fat. And when we put sugar, salt, and fat together in one food, it creates this like unbelievable dopamine rush.
I'm aware of this.
Listen, if you could take 1, 2, or 3 of the trifecta away, it can change everything.
This lemonade that we have here, we made with Splenda, right? Just, you can use a little bit of Splenda, just slice some lemon, fresh lemon juice, and that's it. You put a little lemon zest in there as well.
Lemon
kind of
zest.
help give a little more strong flavor to it.
Right.
I was just telling you, Victoria and I were discussing how to make this July 4th barbecue buffet outside and what we can do for it. And she's like, we should have a snow cone maker outside. I'm like, yes, that sounds like a great idea.
Right.
So now we're actually trying to look and see how
you're going to maneuver that.
How we're going to maneuver that, yeah. So how you make like a syrup, well, obviously healthier as well, like a fruit, like a kind of thinned out fruit puree. But this lemonade, we just simply went ahead and put a little Splenda in there, a little bit of water, a splash of lemon juice and some sliced lemon, just kind of, just something fresh and flavorful. You can put some frozen blueberries in here as well, as opposed to ice even, or kind of help that out and kind of give you a little more color, a little more flavor. I like to buy the little Maine wild blueberries already frozen at the grocery store because they look a little,
I eat
them just like that, honestly.
It looks great. So this lemonade is so good, and you didn't actually sit there and have to squeeze lemons. You just used a little bit of concentrated.
You can use. I use fresh lemon, but you want to use a bottled one. A good brand to use is Nelly and Joe's. Nelly and Joe's is a good bottled lemon juice. You can also try to use Natalie's. Those are good, but obviously fresh is always the best, right?
Fresh is best, but in a pinch.
In a pinch, if you always want to have it, they make good fresh lemon, fresh squeezed lemon and lime juice. So that's what I would recommend.
All right, all right. I always need to have like the real way and then the hacker way, just in case.
The easy way. Well, it's always good to have
pinch.
It's always good to have an easier way, for sure.
For sure.
For something like this salad here, we were just starting to talk about this citrus fennel mango salad we have here. This is a good salad. You can go ahead and, bright summertime salad. We put, radishes and candy cane beets on here, fresh mangoes, a little bit of sliced thin fennel. And the citrus herb dressing that we have on here is with parsley and some cilantro, orange, apple juice concentrate, a little vinegar, a little mustard and garlic.
Wow.
You blend that up. You can use it as a marinade. Put that on the chicken before you cook it on the grill for a day, or a couple, even like 30 minutes or something, and it's going to really infuse that flavor into there. And that way, you give a lot more flavor to your chicken. And we were talking about sabotaging people with their unhealthy marinades and stuff and sauces, and that's very true. But if you make your own, and you can kind of cross-utilize a lot of dressings into a sauce. Like the toasted sesame dressing that we have here. Super flavorful to use as a sauce.
It's my favorite one, actually, the toasted sesame.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good skillet sauce. You can throw it in some green beans at the end of cooking them. You can go ahead and marinate tofu in that. When we make our tofu stir fry, we marinate that in the cubes, and then we bake it with that sauce on it. So it kind of really cooks on the dressing onto it. So the toasted sesame dressing really. Yeah, we use it a lot. Yeah, for sure. It's a good one to use. So, but if you're grilling things, that's people always like, how am I going to grill things without sticking? I need to use a ton of spray or I need to use a ton of oil. One kind of little thing that I like to, trick that I used to do when I grill things is for this is going to work for propane, not for charcoal, right? Charcoal takes too long to even get hot. By the time you're even waiting, you're like already probably cooked your food.
I have the propane, yeah.
Propane's the easier way to go, in my opinion, right? So gas is the easier way to go. You have more control over it. So get this grill hot, right? When it's ready to go, blazing hot, 15 minutes preheated, shut it off. So even turn the propane off because you're going to grill brush it real good.
Oh, you shut it off?
Well, because what you're going to do next is you're going to spray it real good too, right?
Okay.
But you want to preheat it first.
Got it.
Shut it off, right? And the reason you just shut it off because you're going to grill brush it real quick, make sure everything's off and clean it. And then you're going to spray it real good with some cooking spray, like a high heat grilling spray, ideally. Right? But if you spray that with the flame on there, you're going to get it back on your face. So
that would not be good.
Make sure you turn it off, right?
My poor eyelashes.
Your arm hair, everything, yes. It will not be fun. So make sure you turn off the grill, but you have to preheat it first, right? Because metal is kind of like your skin, right? Your skin opens up, it gets very porous when it heats up, and the metal does the same thing. So if I always just spray a cold grill, it's going to be very ineffective. And all the oil kind of burns off as it preheats. But if the grill is preheated, ready to go, you want to go ahead, turn it off, grill brush it real good, take maybe like a dry paper towel and like a long pair of tongs and get off anything extra that was on there. Spray it real good. Take another dry paper towel, long pair of tongs, and go ahead and wipe off all the extra oil that's on there. And then just give it one big broad mist over it to kind of coat that and lubricate all the grill bars. You prepare
stick.
And then you fire the grill back up.
Right,
and the grill's only been off for like maybe a minute at that point,
so it's still really hot.
Super blazing hot still. And then, for the next 20 minutes, your grill bar will be perfectly fine to cook chicken, zucchini, asparagus, whatever. And you can even lightly mist what you're cooking on there before because that just kind of helps to create that barrier. Because what's the point of grilling things if it's going to stick? But you don't need to coat your food in oil, tossing it in oil to have it not stick, right? So preparing the grill properly can really make all the difference on how effective you're going to be with actually having the thing not stick. So whether you do a bison filet mignon, a bison burger, when you do some grilled chicken breast, some grilled sea bass, salmon, a piece of tofu on the grill, whatever, grilled vegetables, roasting whole peppers, whatever. There's so many things you can do on the grill because that charcoal flavor really gives a very distinctive flavor to it.
Yeah, that's, one thing I love about grilling is you don't really need a lot of sauce or anything. The actual grill creates an awesome flavor, but I love the suggestion that you made about preheating and then turning it off. That I actually didn't know.
It makes all the difference in how effective and how much you're going to be screaming and cursing when you're done when you're trying to cook, because if your grills, and your things are sticking to your grill, it makes you just kind of, obviously have a bad time.
That's such a great idea. I mean, one of the things I've been getting a lot of questions lately from the guests, they're saying, it's 4th of July is coming. We're going to a barbecue. I'm really nervous. I've been doing so good on the Pritikin plan and I'm afraid I'm going to fall off. What should I do? And one of the things that I always tell the guests, number one is you don't really want to go to the barbecue super hungry, right? Yeah. Because if you're really hungry, you're probably going to eat everything in sight. So I'm like, have a little snack before you go. We talk a lot about having very watery, fibrous snacks that are filling. So, some fruit or maybe a soup or something like that. And then when they get there, they're not like starving. They're able to talk to the people. The temptation is a little bit less, a little bit less. And the other thing I think that helps bring a lot of confidence in going to these barbecues is I always say, talk to the host and say, hey, what can I bring? Because that way you feel like you're not coming empty-handed. And secondly, you feel very confident that at least there's something there that is good and healthy and safe and you enjoy it.
Of course.
So
things that I would suggest bringing, something like that, whether it be a potato salad, a sweet potato casserole, pasta salad, things like that, that you can kind of, show off like, hey, this is a healthy version of this.
Right, because those are killers with the mayonnaise and stuff like that, right?
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah. I mean, the sauces and things that they put on there usually are going to be loaded with sugar, salts, fats, whatever, all the above, so you name it, it's probably in that pasta salad. That's, that wasn't the healthy version, or the potato salad, whatever it may be.
So, that's so true.
We're planning on doing like a nice pulled chicken that we actually are going to smoke the chickens. And that's another thing you can do, right? Smoking meats, as long as you're not smoking it for too long, getting a lot of carcinogens, we can smoke it for maybe like an hour or two like that. It gives you a lot of smoke flavor, like a piece of fish or a piece of chicken. And it really infuses that flavor into it. So like we're actually intending on smoking bone in, skin on chicken breast. Gives a lot of flavor, gives it more moisture. And then we're going to let it slowly simmer and we'll pull it apart and let it slowly simmer until it kind of pulls apart in like a thinned out barbecue sauce.
Oh my God.
It's super, it's really, really nice. So it gives a lot of flavor.
Speaking of barbecue sauce, by the way.
Well, don't use any pre-made barbecue sauces.
Okay, so you make your own. That's how you do your sauce.
We do.
I mean, one of the biggest things about barbecues are sauces and marinades. And so one of the things that you also taught me is a lot of the dressings that we make here can be used both as a salad dressing as well as a marinade, and they don't have oil in them. So you don't have to worry about all of the extra fat in there. But still very, very flavorful. And I think your little secret sauce, from what I've gathered over my time here, is that you use some apple juice or some sort of juice concentrate, just a smidge, and it gives it the perfect amount of sweetness with not so much sugar at all.
Correct. Instead of using brown sugar or molasses, we were going to use a little bit of apple juice concentrate in our barbecue sauce. So, but sauteing onions and a little garlic and jalapeno and ginger, and then letting that cook down with a little bit of vinegar and then the apple juice, kind of make it like a syrupy glaze, and then adding a little bit of the tomato puree. I mean,
sweet.
Liquid smoke is what gives it that distinctive flavor, though, right? Liquid smoke is the key thing, and all liquid smoke is this very smoky water, right? And smoke water doesn't sound as marketable in a bottle, right? But
no,
liquid smoke
really.
sounds like, oh, what's this stuff, right? But a little pinch of liquid smoke in like a white bean soup and some sort of barbecue sauce, obviously. It's a very, very key ingredient. And what they do is they smoke a bunch of hickory. They'll trap that smoke, they'll mix it with steam, and they'll distill that smoky steam down until you get strips of just smoky water. And it's just what it is. And it's a very intense flavor. But that little couple drops of that gives it, yeah. Otherwise, you just kind of like a funky kind of marinara sauce that without that smoke flavor. Really, that smoke flavor gives it that distinctive.
Little touch that you need to make it seem like authentic and real real sauce.
Yeah. I mean, but it's such a thing. Thing you can go make a big batch of barbecue sauce. Any sort of sauce, I always tell people, make a big batch of these things and freeze them, because the bigger
Great
batches
idea.
of liquid-based things like marinades, dressings, sauces, you can freeze these things. We freeze them here. The dressings we serve outside, we make 6-10 gallons of stuff at a time, and we'll portion it and we'll freeze it. And then when we need it again, we'll thaw out, run it under some cold water for like an hour, shake it up. You got dressing.
Ready to go.
You never know. So like a raspberry dressing or a mango dressing will hold that integrity much longer in the freezer than it would in the refrigerator as well. So
that's so true.
And you make them in big batches. That way you have a good variety kind of stockpiled up of whatever it may be. And, it just gives you a good thing, kind of catalog to pull from. Could be soups, could be dressings, could be sauces, whatever it is. I always tell people to freeze things. And we like to use a container here called, my house as well, called Ready-tainers. Get them on Amazon. Extreme freeze. They're like little deli cups. They're reusable. You can put them in a top rack of dishwasher, microwavable, freezable. They're good to go.
They're amazing.
And 5 sizes and in the same lid on every bottom. So it's just a good kind of game changer, kind of meal prepping and things like that in the kitchen for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest things that I notice as well in terms of sabotaging is the lack of preparation or, being prepared and having things ready for you. So one of the things I also suggest to all the guests is, yes, I think it's always the best idea to make everything from scratch, like your dressings and your marinades and things like that. But every once in a while, we need a product or something that we could just have in a pinch. And so there's a lot of products that we have and we use here, condiment-wise, that are low sugar and low salt. And the truth is that, if you want to put a little bit of ketchup with your chicken or something like that, you want to make sure that you're not sabotaging it. So, just those little idiosyncrasies, I think, make a really big difference when we're using things like condiments and sauces and all of that stuff. So,
I always tell people the funny thing about the condiments is because sometimes they don't always market themselves as being as healthy as they are, right? Because sometimes they don't sell as well. Like the funniest thing is that the sauce that we use here, it used to have the same brand, they used to have a no salt added variation. They stopped making that, and then they only made low sodium. And they stopped making that. But they didn't really stop making that. They just took the low sodium part off of the label.
But the sodium was still low.
The sodium was still the same exact thing. And what they called regular of their version was now just being sold as regular, but it really was still the low sodium variation. So, just read the label because but also don't always assume things like the ketchup you're going to find in the market could be say, hey, no sugar added, but the salt is still there, or no salt added, the sugar is still there.
Yeah.
Right?
There's this thing that I call the trifecta. Okay. It's sugar, salt, and fat. And when we put sugar, salt, and fat together in one food, it creates this unbelievable dopamine rush.
And I'm aware of this. Yeah.
so what happens is that I just say, listen, if you could take 1, 2, or 3 of the trifecta away, it can change everything. So sometimes, like for example, the salad, honestly, is the most beautiful looking thing. It's full of colors, and I know it's full of flavor and all of that. But what really sabotages, in my opinion, many meals, whether it's a salad or a chicken or a bison, is whatever sauce that we put on it. And so I just think that if you want to ask what my biggest suggestion is when you go to these barbecues during the summer, or even if you're going out to dinner or something like that, is bring your own salad, and even bring your own salad dressing. I know it sounds like a little weird and maybe uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, if you're on a journey and you want to continue the journey and you don't want to veer off, then you got to do what's best for you. And people will understand, and they're probably say kudos to you for doing that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you're determined and you're strict with yourself, you can do things like that and not feel like nobody's gonna look at you and judge you. And if they do, then hey, at least you're living a healthier lifestyle than what they're probably eating, that bacon-filled salad over there,
Right.
What I'll tell you one thing I do sometimes is I actually got these little vials, and they're like little plastic vials that I'll fill them up with the dressing. It's like 2 ounces, then I'll bring them with me. And if I don't, I'll just throw it away.
Exactly.
So like, and it's like, it's just something, if it's, I know, like I'm, for instance, I went to my buddy's house for a barbecue a couple weeks ago, and I knew it wasn't gonna make the healthiest thing. So like you said, I brought some stuff with me.
Backups.
And we had a big party, and a lot of people actually liked the food that I made more than what he made. And he was putting a bunch of fat and salt in his food, and obviously I wasn't. So
you were putting all the you used a lot of fresh herbs and spices all. That's one thing.
I brought a good coleslaw. We made with low fat-free sour cream, but you can use low fat. That's all you can find. With a little bit of mustard and lemon and some black pepper and a little dash of apple juice concentrate, a little vinegar, and it really just kind of, you can put some fresh herbs in there, chives, scallions, whatever.
So good.
But you don't need the mayonnaise. People are like,
you don't need the mayonnaise, and you don't need the
mayonnaise
salt.
In here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean,
that's what flavors. I think. I would always stay away from coleslaw, just because in my mind, I think of coleslaw, I think of mayonnaise. So I'm just like, I don't know if I was at a barbecue that it was available, I probably would skip it because I wouldn't be sure whether it was good or not. But if I brought it, then
I was standing by it. I'm like, try my healthy coleslaw.
Try my healthy coleslaw. Speaking of which, the other really big saboteur, I believe, in these summer barbecues are the alcoholic drinks. So things like margaritas, daiquiris, things like that. People are always asking me, like, I want to, people want to have fun. They want to enjoy themselves, and they should. Life is for the living. But if we want to drink a little bit, what are some of the recommendations you have? Like, say if somebody says, I want to have a margarita, but I want it to be a skinny margarita. What could they do?
Your best bet is trying to, for me, if I ever drink alcohol, I'll be quite honest with you, I usually drink it straight, right? Because it's vodka on the rocks for me is if I'm going to drink, that's how I'm going. And I know it's a simple way to do it, but if you're looking to do something like a margarita or something like that, you could try getting the sweetness from using Splenda, like a Truvia or something like that.
Right.
If you're looking to do something like that, but don't like rim the glass with sugar or salt and things like that, right? Obviously not. But if you're looking to do, these things, they're just so high caloric. Even just liquor alone by itself is high caloric, right? So people don't think like, oh, vodka is probably low in calories. It's not. one shot of vodka is like 80 calories.
It's a lot. Yeah. And a shot, by the way, is 1.5 ounces, which is like an inch, right?
It's not,
It's not a lot. So, one of the things I always say is like, listen, whatever you add to the alcohol, it should not be caloric. For example, if some people like to drink rum and Coke, right? Like, I'm like, how about vodka and soda? Something like that. So the only place that you're getting the calories would be from the vodka and not the soda. And then the other thing is, what if, this comes up a lot too, they ask me this question, they're like, Kara, drinking isn't really my thing and I don't really want to drink, but people are always trying to give me drinks and make me drink because when one person's drinking, they want everybody to drink. So another thing I tell them is just get some bubbly water, put a little splash of cranberry juice or something, and it looks like you have a drink and you don't have to tell anyone and it's all good. Bake it till you make it. It does the job but people won't bother you.
Absolutely. Yeah, but we do have recipes for like healthy Bloody Marys and stuff. We do,
So they do exist, healthy Bloody Marys.
They do exist, yes, they do. You can make it a healthier way. So it just matter of finding like a better version of the
tomato juice.
Getting, if you want to use Worcestershire in there like that, get the lower sodium.
The lower
one.
sodium. Yeah.
If you want to put other things in there, some people put crazy stuff in horse. And I don't personally like Bloody Marys, but I know some people
I don't either.
Yeah, but whatever. You can make healthier. It's hard to make a healthy cocktail, but you can make healthier cocktails. But things like beer, it's so high in calories. I don't even personally like drinking beer.
Too many belches, right?
Yeah, for sure. If you go, we serve wine here once in a while. We serve champagne and things like that on holidays. So it's just usually like a special occasion we'll do it here, but we say you can have it once in a while. It's just don't.
Yes. Pritikin Center is not about deprivation. What we are is, in my opinion, getting the biggest bang for our buck here. So it's like, if you're going to have lemonade, you want to get a lot of lemons in there. You get the vitamin C. Put a little zest in there. You get a little extra vitamin C, right? So I think what we really focus on here at Pritikin is not about making the portion size smaller. It's about how could we make the actual portion larger so we feel nice and satisfied, but we're not actually adding calories to it. And so that's why we really focus on, eating fruits and vegetables. They're loaded with fiber, they're loaded with water, they fill us up. So by the time we get to that chicken breast or that bison burger, we're actually already fairly satisfied, and we don't need to eat a lot of that piece because we're focusing on these very low calorie dense, very highly nutritious antioxidants, all those types of things. And one other question I have for you, because one thing that I always recommend to all my clients, as an ingredient to kind of bring into their wheelhouse is apple cider vinegar, because I think that apple cider vinegar is so versatile in all of the different things that you can put it in. And in terms of your health, I mean, it helps stabilize blood sugars. It's antibacterial, so it's good for your immune function. There's just so many good attributes to it. And I think there's so many different types of dishes that you can add.
We use Bragg's apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, me too.
By the gallon, literally. I mean, we
use tons of it.
Yeah, we buy 4 gallons in a case at a time, and it's obviously a higher cost to buy that particular one. It's a much better quality apple cider vinegar than you're going to get from most other brands. So with the mother in there, it gives you more flavor. And like you said, it's just such a intense flavor, but gives you good nutrient value as well. So we use it in dressings, we use it in marinades, we use it in sauces, we use it in multiple
everything.
Soups. So we use it a lot for sure.
Which is great because
that's my go-to vinegar.
It's great. And
I don't take shots of it. Excuse me.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say, because one of the things that happens a lot is people know, or they've heard that apple cider vinegar is really healthy, but they think that they have to take it in a shot and drink it. And I'm like, listen,
please don't.
Hells no, you don't have to do that. You put it in your salad dressing, you put it in your marinade, and you still will reap the benefits of it. You don't have to torture yourself and do a shot of it.
Yeah,
so,
please don't do that.
Yeah.
Give me a shot of vodka before I apple cider vinegar. I'll tell you what. One thing that comes to my mind when I think of is barbecue is just people out there, like you said, bison burgers, fries, things like that. And you can make healthier alternatives, you're not going to find a healthy hot dog, right? That's just not the case. I mean, you might find healthier hot dogs, but the sodium is always just a little bit, the fat's always going to be there. But there's never going to be a healthy hot dog. But you can make healthy burgers, right? Like, yeah, my dad doesn't do it for me either, right? But some people like that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, it's American food, things like that. It's like, something like a staple type of thing. But you can make healthier burgers, right? We use bison here. The bison naturally is going to be lower in saturated fat, cholesterol than what beef is. So we're going to be more of a keen to use that if you're going to use red meat, a little more often than using beef. So we use bison here. That's like if you want to try to get the leanest you can get. Leanest you're going to find in the market is probably like 10% fat, but you can get from online vendors, up to 99% lean ground bison.
Wow, yeah.
Putting like sauteed caramelized and onions and peppers into that creates the kind of the moistness back into there.
You're making me hungry.
And it gives you the flavor, you know what I mean? So you can use a healthy whole wheat bun. You can make, potato skins. So, doing like some roasted potato skins as opposed to doing, obviously French fries, just gives you still like a lot of the same things you're having. Use like a healthier ketchup. Woodstock's a good brand, 50% less sugar and 50% less sodium and it's one of the healthiest ones you're going to find on the market. And it has a good, flavor and texture. So
yeah.
You
feel like you're having a burger and you're actually having a bun. Those buns that we use for the grain burgers here, I think they're great because they're like the perfect circle for the burger.
Osery Bakery is the one.
Osery, and I think those are awesome because you still feel like you're getting the bun, but it's so thin and it's 100% whole wheat, so you're getting a bang for your buck when you're doing that. And honestly, guys, at the end of the day, when you're at a barbecue, the most important thing is that you enjoy yourself, right? So you can decide, you can grant yourself the permission to have a special dessert, or if there's fries and you want to have the fries, that's what you choose. And guess what? That's okay. Empower yourself and grant yourself to make that choice. And you just have to be mindful about what you're doing. And then remember, tomorrow is a whole new day. You go back to your regularly scheduled program and you thoroughly enjoyed your barbecue with your friends and your family.
Exactly. And I tell people that, if you have a bad day, like a little hiccup day, and you did fall victim to have, it's not like, it's not the end of the world, but what can you fall victim is that if you don't make up for it the next day and you kind of let that kind of leave on your slippery slope of like, hey, 2 bad things lead to 3 bad things, lead to 4 bad things.
Right, you're detouring.
So if you get too detoured, it's kind of easy to kind of do that, and it's harder to kind of get back on the path.
Right,
so take that and just make up for the next day.
Enjoy yourself today. This is a special occasion, and grant yourself the permission, and no back-to-backs, by the way. Tomorrow is a new day. You get right back on the track.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean like have a healthy meal and go back to back.
No, it's special.
It's special. It should be a special thing, not to just kind of hey, every day I'll do a cheat day, because that's how some people can take that. But one thing for me is like desserts as well, right? Like, and people can always look at like desserts and like, oh, I want to eat all that pie or all that cookies, all that cake, whatever it is, parfait. We'll do a couple different things here that could be considered, much. Looking at it like, well, how can you make that healthy? Whether it be like a vanilla cupcake or a chocolate cupcake, or doing things like one thing we did for 4th of July one year was like a patriotic parfait, but we did like a fruit compote of raspberry and blueberry, and then we kind of layered it with a little bit of yogurt. You know what I mean? And it was just something so simple, but it was nice, and like a little crumble on top. Give it a little more crunchiness.
I love the crumble. Yeah.
So you can make healthy things that are still going to be very flavorful, and then you're going to want to enjoy it.
Right. And the other thing that's so great about 4th of July is that it's all about USA, red, white, and blue, and so we have all kinds of wonderful fruits that have these colors in them, so we can really focus on the dessert to be more fruit centric than like say pie centric, for example.
Yeah. I mean, if you find anything besides blueberries that are blue, you let me know, because that's
well.
I mean, a lot of purple vegetables,
right? I put them all in the same realm. So the black raspberries, they're kind of blue too. Yeah. They're in there.
Eggplant you can use,
Not in the fruit parfait though. No,
well, not in the fruit.
No, that wouldn't be too good. But we could put it on the grill.
You could put the eggplant on the grill, with some.
For sure, I love the grilled eggplant. But I got to tell you, I'm so excited. The very first thing that you talked about with the turning the grill on and off, I'm going to do that from now on, because I wasn't doing that.
It works great. I mean,
and I do see the flame kind of up a little bit, and I kind of fly back.
Yeah. And I always tell people, especially if it's a windy day, I always have to wear goggles, because you get like, especially your grill brush and stuff like that, or you get like a blow of heat in your face, you'll get this, just. It's
not good. It's not good.
I mean, just to get FYI, because certainly you don't want to go out there and have a bad time if you're supposed to have a good time, So grilling is something I do a lot at my house, because I have a pool in my backyard, especially you get good weather down here a lot. And just knowing the right way to do it and having good marinades to give your food good flavor, And one thing I make a lot is a sofrito, which is like pureed peppers and shallots and cilantro and parsley and garlic and jalapeno. And you can just puree the heck out of that and put that, like maybe you're browning off some ground chicken breast or ground turkey breast and put that in there and make a taco out of that.
There's your sauce.
Or if you want
Whole Foods.
Marinate that with some chicken and put that on the grill. There's a lot of things you can do like that. It gives you so much more flavor, So
right. You're so great. That's what you're so great at, bringing the flavor without bringing the trifecta, the sugar, salt, and the fat. So one of these days, I would love to come over to your house and see what you barbecue and see how you do your barbecue.
Whenever
so I can
Kara,
try and emulate that.
Everyone's invited.
All right. Okay. Barbecue at Chef Vince's house. We'll see you there.
I'll see you there.
Anyway, it was so great talking to you today. I'm super excited about what's coming up for the 4th of July. And overall, just summer fun. Enjoy.
Lots of good stuff to come.
All right.
Thank y'all. Take care.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.